Are we okay? We got to fucking... We've got to do the fucking shit that we for fucking drug abuse. No! Are you listening?
Sean here, and we are going to be talking about Lorne Armstrong and isolation and why it's not good for him. Lorne's at a stage in his life where he's a failure and will remain a failure. And failures remain failures because they aren't out there living life, facing adversity, overcoming adversity, helping others overcome adversity. You learn a lot from helping others get through their problems. Because you're watching what they go through, you're hearing the way they feel, you're hearing all of the challenges they're facing, so that when you come up against it, you can reference those. You can remember what it was like, and you can know that somebody else is going through it. Lorne likes what he's comfortable with, and that's sitting at home in his trailer, waiting for that big thing to happen. It's just right around the corner. All of this big stuff's going to happen for him. He's going to be the man. You listen to him talk to Jamie Amy the robot, asking her to quit her porn star job, like he's going to provide for her. He's talking about starting a business and all this other crap. And he wants her to quit her job and come up and live with him. A woman who was making buku bucks. He wants her to quit what she loves, come up in his trailer, when he doesn't even have a steady job, a steady source of income. He doesn't understand how real people work, and that's because he lives isolated. There are many reasons that people isolate, and one of the main ones is to escape criticism. Look at how many streamers you watch. I'm talking about Twitch streamers, pornography community, really not that bad. But these are people that hide behind their cameras. They can say whatever they want. They ban anyone with a differing opinion, any detractors, anyone that doesn't like what they say. They can sit behind that camera, and whatever they spit out of their mouth is truth. Darkside Phil, who I have a video coming out on, he's the game streaming Lorne Armstrong. He hides behind his camera. He's a tough guy. He begs for money, then chastises his own chat. He hates his viewers, and the only time he pretends he's happy is when he gets money. He uses terms like literally everyone and literally no one, because when you're isolated, whatever you want to be the truth, it's the truth. And that's the truth. So when Lorne is at his trailer, he doesn't have to see the success of anyone else. He doesn't have to see how much money everybody else is making or the hot women that they're with. He can just sit in his trailer and have his own opinion of where he fits in terms of success in life. This is a guy who wanted a porn star who loves her job, making a ton of money, and Jamie Amy Robot, to quit her job. And we're going to talk about ownership of the body in another video. But he wanted her to quit her job so she could come up and live in a trailer, because again, Lorne lives in his trailer and there are big things around the corner. He promises all these catfish women he's going to change when they get there. He's going to make a lot of money. He's going to start his business. If you were only here with me, look at all this crap. But he wanted her to quit her job because there was a chance he was starting his own business. I'm not sure exactly what business it is. It might be the website business where you had to pay the weekend tax. I don't know. But what I am telling you is that someone like this who's been isolated, that doesn't understand real life, doesn't understand the struggles, hasn't seen other people go through, doesn't understand the value of money. He doesn't understand very much about life except that he got busted and people were mean to him his entire life. Darkside Phil, again, I'm telling you, he's the game streaming Lorne. He blames all of his failures, all of the stuff he's ever done. He blames it all on trolls, he says. Trolls ruined everything. But it was his own actions, and that's Lorne. Making that many mistakes in your life, you don't want to be reminded of how many mistakes you've made. Being around other people, being around successful people, hearing their stories, it might bring up those memories of all of the failures that have happened, everything that you've done that's come back to bite you in the ass. The dude's in his 50s with no prospects, nowhere to go. But again, when you're isolated, when you're by yourself, your voice is all you hear. You're going to think you're much better than you actually are. And anything you want to be truth will be. Why is everything so dramatic for him? I'll tell you why it's dramatic. Not the drama, but why everything is so dramatic is because he doesn't deal with real life hardships and challenges. He deals with Lorne world. Any little thing that comes around that inconveniences him or even presents any pushback, it's a big deal. And he wants everybody to know it's a big deal. Look at that stupid mailbox story he told Ramona about whether or not he was getting a mailbox back, and it was a cheap mailbox. It was something so dumb, but to him, it was huge because he's got nothing else going on and he's never faced anything that really challenged him. I mean, look at what did challenge him. He got busted. He could have turned his life around after the sting, but no, he decided it's much easier to blame the sting and blame everybody else for his own failures. This is also why he doesn't know to run when these catfish women are driving him crazy. Because again, everything in his life is dramatic. The smallest things. Let's say Lorne went out fishing and he fell in the water. He'd come back and he would talk to you like you've never experienced falling in the water. And that it took him so much, it was so much trouble to get all the water out of his boots, and his clothes were soaking wet and he was cold. He would make it an ordeal, and he would make it seem like he was close to death. He doesn't have any shared experiences with anyone. He doesn't know what's normal. He doesn't know what true adversity is. So again, the smallest thing rears its head, and he goes into full drama mode. And it's a crisis. I used to be like that. Whenever something popped up, it was a crisis. And my mom used to kind of chuckle and be like, son, not everything's a crisis. As I got older, I realized it, but when you're younger, yeah, but Lorne is in his 50s, and it's still that way. I'm 100% certain that Lorne does something else that people that isolate themselves do. I'm sure he sits around going over scenarios that happened, going over scenarios he wants to happen in his head, and practicing his speeches, maybe even acting them out. He says his words, and he imagines in Lorne world what that other person's going to say. And he gets to come up with the perfect tell-off, or he gets to come up with the perfect romantic saying. This is not uncommon. And people may deny that they do it, but when you're by yourself and you don't have anybody to really talk to, you're all you got. I used to do it. I used to think about what somebody said to me, and I used to say it out loud to myself. I'm talking about when I was younger, when I was untreated bipolar. I used to think about what somebody said to me, and I'd be mad because I didn't say this. Really, really mad. Not just like normal frustrated mad, but like mad. And I might say it out loud, and and I'm practicing, and then I realized as I got older, especially when I was on medication, I was learning about myself. I realized, wow, I spent a lot of time worrying about something that already happened that I can't go back and change. I'm certain there's a lot of regret for Lorne, and I told you, I still think he would call Emma and ask, call Emma. I think he would call Emma and ask if he could talk to Winnie. Why do you think when he talks to these women, he brings up stuff that happened in the past so much? Because I told you why, but there's another reason. It's because, well, he didn't get the response he wanted. That is correct. But he didn't say what he wanted to the first time. He goes back and he's like, okay, I know it's already happened, but here's the point I didn't make. So he tries to bring it up again because he wants to say that point as if it's going to change anything. No woman would put up with that in real life. No one. And I think with Winnie, there were a lot of things that he really wanted to say. I don't know to this day if he thinks that Winnie was real or not. I think he probably does. As time goes on, he'll think, well, you know, she was playing Winnie. Maybe we had a connection. We were talking for 9 fucking months. 9 months. And that's Lorne. He shouldn't be isolated. It's very dangerous for his mental health. He's lost all touch with reality, all touch with who he really is. Being isolated sets you up for failure. You get set in your own routines. You have your own views on how life should run. You spend your money on whatever. When someone else comes into your life and they've got their own way to run stuff, there's going to be a clash. And with Lorne, you know there's going to be no compromise. They're going to butt heads. The woman's going to peace out within a week. If she's dumb enough to move in with him, because I think if Lorne did get a woman, it would be one that needed a place to stay. And she moved in with him, and he immediately assumed they were engaged. They were an old married couple. I think they would clash because Lorne, he doesn't understand how relationships work already. So if somebody were to come into Lorne world, where he's got his little set idea of how things should be, how they should run, what he should spend it on, he's not going to give an inch. And they are going to butt heads. It's going to be painful for the other person. I can't imagine him having a roommate. I can't imagine Roy trying to live with him. Because in Lorne's head, it's his trailer. So it's his rules. So if a woman came into that trailer, it wouldn't be their trailer. It would be his rules. Which is why the closer it got for Robot Jamie Amy to move there, the more restrictions he wanted to put on her. Yeah, I talked about wanting her to quit her job and everything else, and he was going to provide for her, and he can't even provide for himself. And he doesn't understand that you should already have enough money to take care of yourself. You should already be in a position where you can take on the responsibility of getting married. You've seen it too many times where people get married, they have kids, they can't really afford the kids, they don't have any way, they didn't plan ahead for daycare, they didn't time management, whatever it was. With Lorne and his isolation, that would become a major problem. So I think as long as Lorne lives isolated, he won't understand how things are supposed to work. He doesn't understand right now what women are supposed to be able to do, which is whatever the fuck they want, because it's a free country. He thinks that there are restrictions when you get married, because all of this happens in his head, because he's isolated and he's God. Whatever he wants the truth to be, it's fact. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.
Yeah, this